I'm sure you're probably wondering, Jordan, what happened to your eyes? Okay, if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail alone, my eyes are absolutely wrecked right now. Okay, now you're probably wondering, Jordan, what happened? Why are your eyes looking so crazy? Let me explain. Today's video was supposed to be about why I am no longer vegan. This was the plan of the video. I had this whole grand idea where I was going to use my veganism journey as a segue into my mechanism of working harder than I have to and explaining the 80-20 rule. Okay, all of that went out the window today when I decided to follow through with my initial plan. Now, like I just said, my initial plan for today's video was why I'm no longer vegan. Now, one thing about me is that I typically like to do things and then make videos about it afterwards. That being said, I decided to go ahead and eat eggs this morning. Okay, now mind you, I've been vegan since 2017. In that whole time, I have not eaten eggs. I might have slipped up once or twice and eaten products that had eggs in them, but I never ate eggs by themselves, at least knowingly. Now, as you can see, this plate is empty because I ate all 4 of the eggs that I cooked this morning. That was where things started to go south. So, initially, upon eating those eggs, the first thing that I noticed was that my throat and my mouth began to tingle and itch. Now, this is something that I have never experienced in my life before. Okay, throat and mouth tingling and itching, that's not a comfortable feeling. If you've never been through that before, that's not something that you want to go through. And especially when it becomes difficult for you to swallow, suddenly you might start to panic internally. Now, mind you, I was and still am on the phone with my girlfriend, so I wanted to keep my cool because I don't want her to be panicking and staying up all night. She needs to wake up early for school tomorrow. So I didn't want her to stress about my condition or whatever, but deep down, I was panicking. After that, okay, once the eggs, I guess, began to digest, things started to get even worse. So, as I was laying in my bed talking to my girlfriend, I noticed that my stomach began to burn. Okay, right down the middle of my stomach. So, maybe right about here. I felt my stomach burning. And this is also a very troubling sensation because nothing that I did made it better. Thankfully, it's starting to get better now, but nothing that I did made it feel better. And I kind of just laid there and talked to my girlfriend, but at a certain point, I just started tuning out what she was saying because I can no longer concentrate on anything except for the burning sensation in the middle of my stomach. I tried chewing gum, peppermint gum. That's usually my cheat code for any type of stomach pains or nausea or anything like that. Didn't really work. Okay, it didn't work. I tried drinking water. That didn't really work either. And then I realized I'm just going to have to let this pass through. Okay, and you know when you eat something and you feel your stomach bubbling and it's making all of those sounds and everything? My stomach started doing that stuff. So I said, okay, let me just go ahead and let my body process this meal that I just fed it, right? Because it's probably wondering, what the fuck is this? What are you feeding me? Because again, I haven't eaten eggs since 2017. Okay, I haven't eaten eggs since I was pretty much still in high school, going into my senior year of high school. I'm 23 now. Had I stayed in college, I would have already graduated. So just to put that into context, I haven't eaten eggs in a long time. My body doesn't know how to process them. So bearing that in mind, I decided to go ahead and lay down, or lie down, grammatical correction there, but I decided to lie down with my girlfriend on the phone and just wait for it to pass. Now, as I was lying there, I noticed that my eyes started to itch, so I started rubbing them a little bit. Right? Nothing too crazy, but it was very difficult to not rub them because they're itching. Kind of like how my mouth was itching earlier. And I didn't really think anything of it. I figured maybe my lenses were just dry or something like that. Well, I walked into the bathroom about 10 minutes ago to pee, and I look in the mirror and I see this, okay? This, just in case you didn't see earlier, this is what I saw right here. Okay. Now, again, today's video was supposed to be about why I'm no longer vegan. My initial plan, well, first of all, my initial reasoning was that I want to put on muscle. I want to put on muscle and I want to optimize my diet for doing that while still maintaining a healthy, balanced diet. So I figured I'll reintegrate meat and eggs, particularly chicken and eggs, in order to get more protein efficient meals and be able to bulk more efficiently without having to eat as much food. Well, that plan is officially discarded. Okay, I've taken that plan and I have thrown it out of the window and I've closed the window and deadbolted it shut. I am going to be vegan for the remainder of my life because if this is how my body responds to eggs, which by the way, I've never shown an allergy for in the past. I used to eat eggs probably once a week as a kid and it was the first thing I ever taught myself how to cook. If this is how my body is responding to eggs, imagine how it's going to respond to chicken, okay, or meat in general. I wasn't going to eat red meat, but just imagine how my body would respond to meat. And my plan was to eat 1 pound of chicken per day. So just think about that for a second. I would probably be in the hospital making this video right now. Okay, I would be in the hospital. I don't even know if I would survive. My body would probably simply cease to exist if I tried doing that, especially in conjunction with the 4 eggs that I ate today. Look, I'm not here to tell you that you need to be vegan just because I am and just because this happened to me. All I'm saying is that when I cut meat and eggs out of my diet, and dairy, mind you, when I cut animal products out of my diet, this didn't happen to me. I didn't experience any of these symptoms. As a matter of fact, I instantaneously felt better. Now, having reintegrated just eggs alone by themselves, I immediately feel worse. Now, you do with that information what you will. I'm not some activist who's propagating that everybody be vegan and that you're morally unjust or you're morally inferior if you're not vegan. That's not my place. Okay, quite frankly, I don't care what you do. But I know for me personally, okay, having looked in the mirror and seen this right here, okay, having looked in the mirror and having seen this, having felt my throat begin to close up and having felt that burning sensation in my stomach, I know without a shadow of a doubt that I'm going to be vegan for the remainder of my life. I will not be adding in eggs or chicken or anything like that. Forget about the 80-20 rule. Okay, I don't care about optimizing my diet for putting on muscle. I've already put on upwards of 30 pounds of muscle as a vegan anyways. Protein is protein. I know how to optimize my diet even as a vegan for putting on muscle. If it happens slower, it happens slower. But this right here, having to deal with this is not worth the gratification that comes with putting on muscle. It's simply not worth it. And again, it's not my place to tell you if you should be vegan or not, but it is my place to document my journey and showcase my results just in case there are any other vegans out there, or let me not even say vegan, any other people on a plant-based diet who are considering going back to being an omnivore. If you're thinking about being an omnivore or even a carnivore, just understand that this is a possibility. Once again, I'm not allergic to eggs. Or maybe I am, I don't know, but at least growing up, I was never allergic to eggs. So unless my body suddenly decided that I was allergic to eggs in the past few years, I don't see why my body would react like this other than my body simply not accepting this as a rational, reasonable food source. I don't know, maybe you have a better answer for me. And I understand that there will be a transition, okay, as your body reintegrates eating meat or consuming animal products. But again, I didn't have to deal with this when I eliminated them, when I increased the amount of vegetables that I was consuming and whatnot. Vegetables, fruits, and other conventionally vegan foods. However, going the opposite direction, okay, you see what I'm talking about. So look, I'm not trying to scare you into being vegan. I'm just saying that based on this right here, okay, what you see and what I felt, I've made my decision. I'm going to be vegan for the foreseeable future, which for me is the rest of my life. I'm going to be vegan for the rest of my life, and now I am completely at peace with knowing that. Anytime anybody says I'm missing out on any gains, okay, I'm going to reference them to this video. I'm going to say, if these are the gains that you're talking about, okay, these gains right here, I don't want them.